been carrying my camera around with me for the past 3 weeks, trying to capture some of the magic that's been going on, trying to get a video together, and it hasn't been working. Most of my weeks lately have been meeting with people one-on-one, meetings about some really intense stuff that's going on. Walking with a regular shoe for the first time in 3 months, and it is terrifying and slow. Lots of meetings today. Meetings have been my life lately, and intense generally sounds bad, but this is good intense and bad intense both. And it's hard for me to wrap my head around because a lot of these moments, I think if we were able to share them, would be really amazing learning moments for a lot of people out there. But a lot of the conversations are really private in nature, so they're not to be shared. And that's something I've been running up against with the podcast as well. That's some of the things that I think would be the most valuable for people to hear. Some of the biggest learning moments are just too private to share, at least at this current time. It's left me in this interesting position. When we first started the business, it was really easy for me to openly share everything that's going on because most of it revolved around the world of myself, Jared, and Charles, and our involvement in everything. But now that there's so many other layers, there's so many other people to consider, and I have to really respect that. So I need to figure that out. I want to share some of that, I just don't know how yet. What I do want to do is share some things that have been inspiring me in the world of coffee. Most of the things that are really inspiring me come from outside the world of coffee, and I think it's important to look outside of your given industry for inspiration, because if you don't, you have the tendency to play this big game of follow the leader. Everything comes homogenized. It all just becomes the same. We all become carbon copies of each other's, or we latch on to whoever the biggest person in the industry is. We try to replicate that success, and it leads to this really stale industry. However, there are 2 coffee companies in the last couple years that have been really inspiring to me in their design, their aesthetic, and just the experience they provide around their coffee. And neither of them are retail companies. They're both mail order, subscription, drop kind of companies. First one is Be Still Cody. They're up in Canada. They do a coffee subscription. The coffee is really delicious they roast. I'd say some of their coffees are similar in style to ours, so I naturally find them really enjoyable. But they package it in an amazing box, and with each coffee there is a mixtape. The mixtape is mixed down from actual vinyl, from a record collection onto this physical tape, and the tape is meant to be played while you're drinking the coffee. And it's all about matching the mood of the music to the coffee that you're drinking. The tapes come in these really beautiful colors. It just feels really cool to get the box, open the box, pull the tape out, hold the tape, handle the tape. I don't even have a stereo in my car at current, but at the time I had my E36, it has a tape player because it's from the 90s, so it was really rad. I could pop in this stuff, and it was this good eclectic mix of a few things that I'd heard, but a lot of stuff that I had never heard before. It's really hard for me to find new music, so I really appreciate that. I wish I had a box. I wish I had a box saved. I have some tapes, I'll go dig them up. The second company that's been really inspiring to me is Luminous Coffee. Luminous Coffee is Lexus and Mason. They're a couple, they're out of Vegas, and just like Be Still Cody, they've really focused on capturing and delivering an experience. Now, Be Still Cody is a subscription-based situation, and Luminous does drops around specific coffees, specific ceramic, and I got some stuff right here. The packaging is out of control. The box is inspired by a Chinese food takeout box. The colors and the artwork are amazing. The colors change with each drop, and I love how they've integrated themselves into the branding. That's Mason and that's Lexus. And in an era of faceless, who owns it companies, I think it's really cool to be able to see who's behind what you're getting. The idea of the takeout box in and of itself is something that I've never seen before. I think it's a really cool, interesting design element. And even with the colors and there's actually a textural element to the boxes. So some of this is printed matte, and some of it, like the faces, the little dog here, has a gloss hit over it. So there is some depth and dimension. It's almost like this 3D packaging, which is really, really epic to look at and feels really cool to hold. You even got a color hit inside the box. So from every angle, this thing is boss. Comes with an info card, stickers. This one had a little bonus gift in it, which is a tiny package of Cascara from the same farm that the coffee was from. I'll do a whole other video on what is Cascara. You've probably seen it at Starbucks or something like that. Keeping with the theme of the Chinese takeout box, fortune cookie. Should we get some ASMR going over here? Now, in addition to coffee, they do drops with different ceramic, most notably the Brian Januski Drippy Cup, which is this sexy thing right here. And that comes in its own little packaging with its own little info card about Brian and why he makes his ceramic. This is kind of a cool little detail, the inside of the boxes and the color of the stickers. You know when you see an idea and you're like, damn, why didn't I think of that? Or damn, why doesn't my look that tight? Or damn, what are we doing? What's going on over here? I knew it was really unique. There's not a ton of premium experiences in coffee. There's a ton of coffee brands. Everybody who has a brand has a subscription, and they're all basically the same. You get coffee every couple weeks or every month, and it comes in a package, and maybe it's got a little add-on. So in that generic subscription world, the biggest differentiator, which is the game that we play, and what we believe about business, is you want to buy coffee from people who believe the same things that you do. You get that cultural connection when you buy that coffee. So maybe even though you don't get anything fancy, there's no trinkets, there's no, it's not an exciting experience, you have that brand connection. Leaning into brand connection is powerful. It's arguably your best marketing tool. However, there's no one that I've seen aside from these two companies that are offering an experience that feels just a little bit elevated, that feels a little bit premium, that for lack of a better word, almost feels like it offers a little bit of luxury without feeling over the top and corny. The thing that I love most about projects like these is that they seem to throw caution to the wind, and because of the size of the companies, they have flexibility that a lot of bigger companies don't. If you're a JAB company, you kind of have no excuse for not offering something premium. I'm assuming JAB doesn't want you to, because maybe the margin's not as exciting for them. They're more money-making machines than coffee experience machines. So I get it, but the smaller you are, the more flexibility you have. So something like what Luminous or Be Still Cody is doing reminds me of how I used to feel about the specialty coffee industry when it was just on the come up. We had these really small businesses that were going to do things differently because they knew that the experience that it provided, the feeling that you got from going to these cafes, and the beverage quality was just so much higher. We're going to charge more, and at first, it's not going to be for everybody. It's, you have to kind of get your feet wet. You got to kind of explore. But when you went to Ritual in 2005, when you went to Stumptown in the early 2000s, you had this feeling that it doesn't seem like it really exists anymore because of how common specialty coffee is becoming. So something like this kind of resets my mind and gives me something to latch onto, or like, oh, okay, this feels different, this feels special, that's outside of the box, and that's really refreshing to me. Plus, it makes me just hungry and want to level up our experience. We're really leaning into the brand, and there's a ton of stuff that we want to do with packaging and add-ons that we just can't do right now because of the growth. Honestly, we have money tied up in a lot of different places, and an experience like this isn't really on the table for us, and at least right now. It will be at some point, but I'm hugely inspired, so I felt like I needed to give a shout out, and link to everything down below if you want to go support some of these smaller companies, people that have unique vision and just this really amazing eye for aesthetic and providing something interesting. You need to do that. I know it seems counterintuitive for someone who owns a coffee company to kind of pitch and sell other people's coffee, but that's the way the industry can thrive together. We're all working, we're all in the same boat, or maybe we're in the same ocean, maybe we're floating to different places, but it's all ecosystem. You get what I'm saying? I don't have the metaphor right now. It's early in the morning. I don't know what to do. Stay dialed, y'all, and I will catch you on the flip side. Peace.